Now it's visible. Paper number 104, Literature of the Victorians, and a topic of that character study of Jack Worthing. This play wrote on I think 3 act. I'm sure 3 act. Author is Oscar Wilde. Their names, full names is a little bit different of that pronunciation. I can try, but if I am mistake, that don't laugh at me. Oscar Fingal Flaherty Wills Wilde. He was an Irish poet and writer. Was a popular for his dramatic portrayals of a human condition. Also, it's a satire on a Victorian society, aristocratic life. In that Victorian age, the late 19th century, he became a famous, especially when citizens of that Britain were able to embrace and appreciate literature. He wrote many poems, short stories, and play. In his writing, he criticized that Victorian society for its negative feature like a hypocrisy, narrow-mindedness, double standard, sexual representation, and class consciousness. Wilde criticized that Victorian in his masterpiece of Important of Being Earnest, especially its social aristocratic life. We can see that the character of Lady Bracknell and Algernon in the starting of their drawing room with then servant, and he present that aristocratic life, the social class system, the attitude of marriage, and the duality of human. That quality of quality in a character of Jack, I can make that chart, but in this technical mistake, it's error. That moral, true lover, intelligent, kind, and best liar. Moral, we can see that he was different from that Algernon character. I know that both are used that name of Ernest to his love life, but according to Algernon's character, he was some bit of moral, true lover of Gwendoline, and intelligent. Intelligent, why intelligent? Because he that made that is a situation. He just answer of that all question. It's also that intelligent. And that Lady Bracknell and conversation of that Jack, it's that show of that intelligent. Kind-hearted. Why kind-hearted? We see that in a last act, Miss Prism, she declared that purse was I am handbag was I am left that, and he just say, oh, you are my mother, and he was telling I am not married, and Jack suddenly speak, don't worry. In that situation, that time in 19th century Victorian era, he was considered, oh, don't worry, you don't married and I am your son, I'm okay, I'm no problem. It's a kind-hearted, best liar in many situation. We can say that Gwendoline time, and that Lady Bracknell conversation, and also that cigarette box found by Algernon. He was tell him that Cecily is my little aunt, and that best liar. Character of Jack Worthing. Jack Worthing, the play's protagonist, was discovered as an infant by the late Mr. Thomas Cardew in a handbag in the cloak room of railway station in London. Jack has grown up to be a seemingly responsible, respectable young man, a major landowner, and a justice for the peace in Hertfordshire, where he has a country estate. Jack was fined by Thomas Cardew, and he was a respectable young man and major land rover. Why? Mr. Thomas Cardew has a rich man, and that guardians of their great granddaughter, it's Jack. That's why he was also rich. He made his own business, but also that he was a guardian of that Mr. Thomas Cardew's land and country. He is a guardian of Mr. Cardew's granddaughter Cecily, has other duties and people who depend on him, including the servant, tents, farmers, and that local clergyman. He was that respectable man in his countryside. Also, he was a best guardian, we can say that. He was also that seen in that Cecily's respect and care of like his own uncle. More than any other character in the play, Jack Worthing represents that conventional Victorian values. He wants others to think, address to such an notion as a duty, honor, respectability, but he hypocritically fault those very nations. He was used that earnest name. If he was going to London, then no one can is a stop him. But why he was used that brother name Ernest? He was only speak that Cecily and Mrs. Prism, I want to go for a pleasure London. It's okay. Why is he was a create that brothers while was actually satirizing a thought Jack was that general tolerance, hypocrisy, and conventional Victorian morality. While was an actually present that hypocrisy in that society and dual standard personality in human. Jack uses his alter ego, Ernest, to keep his honorable image intent. He's a hypocrite character has a change into a honest character. At the end, his real name was an Ernest. Jack Worthing as Ernest. Jack uses his fictional brother to excuse him to a London looking for a pleasure. He meets a Gwendoline Fairfax, the daughter of Lady Bracknell. And Lady Bracknell character I was like a most. He was she was only that character I like it most. She explained that a Victorian aristocratic society is a clothes. We see that play is a clothes, and also she has that all power in his hand. He's her daughter also, and Algernon wedding permission also is only his her hand. The romance between Jack and Gwendoline wasn't rising in London. At that time, the name of Ernest has become popular among ladies. The name of Ernest seems to give a satisfaction or a guarantee in a life for Gwendoline and Jack's niece, Ward in Sicily. That a name was only that name was an pleasure for Gwendoline and Sicily. They both are just listen and love for that name. Jack tried to propose Gwendoline. He tried to send a signal to Gwendoline that his name is not Ernest but Jack, and that line we that seen in a twice time. Algernon also tried to signal Cecily, my name was not Ernest, Algie or Algernon. But she denied it. No, I am just love Ernest name. Gwendoline also just said, I love that Ernest name. Gwendoline rejected to get married with a name was a Jack. She thought that Ernest is a nice name, and it was that name that any woman would agree to get married with. Jack wasn't facing many challenges in order to achieve his happiness with Gwendoline. He was always try to getting happy everyone, but because of that name and making that a fictional brother, he was also suffer from it. Compare that character of Jack and Algernon. It's a bit comparison. Jack was 13 years old at the rate. Algernon was young, presumably an orphan. We just don't say he is an orphan, surely orphan. Algernon belongs to aristocrat living. Jack is a guardian of Sicily. Algernon, he is criticized by always being hungry. I'm sorry that eating as Jack, as it was his protector, was a rich man, and Jack enjoy a home in the country. And Algernon does not have any cares of marriage, family, respectability, and responsibility. We just say Algernon is free from everything. Jack, he's a character quite favorable for a marriage based on income, but his lack of a family history makes it a burden for him to marry Lady Love Gwendoline. We said that a conversation of Lady Bracknell and Jack, she only that reason of that denied to marry proposal because of his family background. He was an orphan. And also that I just forget to mention, Jack wasn't true. True, and that we can say that he was the man of that devoutness. If he was lie that Mrs. Bracknell, this is my family, and Thomas Cardew was my father. It's okay. She don't think that, but he wasn't give that a trueness. I am orphan, and I am uh, meet within handbags of railway station. Jack, he owns a money to several debts collector, and sorry, it's Algernon. It's owned that owes that money to several debts collector, and he is apparently more worried about being a fashionable, acquainted, and a fabthen stable. And Jack escaped to the city under the name of Ernest, and Algernon escaped to the country under the name, his invalid friend name Bunbury. That these are that similarity in Jack and Algernon. That is my resources, and also that I am in our last session of that 3 days important of being earnest. Divya Seta wrote that poem, so I can also wrote that poem, but it's a bit childish work. I not that proper, but I just say you. ફેરફેક્સે નામ સાંભળ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, ફેરફેક્સે નામ સાંભળ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, જાણે મળી ગયું બધું એને સારું. ફેરફેક્સે નામ સાંભળ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, જાણે મળી ગયું બધું એને સારું. સિસિલીએ નામ સાંભળ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, સિસિલીએ નામ સાંભળ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, કહે મન ગળી ગયું મારું. આ નામ અર્નેસ્ટ, કહે લેડી બ્રેકનેલ, લઈ ગયો બધું મારું. કહે આલ્ગરનૂન, મળી ગયું આ નામ સાથે મને નવું નજરાણું. જેક વિચારે આ નામ રાખ્યું અર્નેસ્ટ, પણ થઈ ગયો ઘણો કલેશ મારે. ના મળી મને ઓળખ મા બાપની, ના મળી મને ઓળખ મા બાપની, પણ લાગે છે પ્રેમ પણ રહી જશે અધૂરો મારો. અંતમાં આ બધી જ પળોજણમાં, અંતમાં આ બધી પળોજણમાં છેલ્લે મળ્યા મિસ પ્રિઝમ, છેલ્લે મળ્યા મિસ પ્રિઝમ, મળ્યા મિસ પ્રિઝમ લેડી બ્રેકનેલને. જેકને મળી ગયું ખોટાનું સાચું, ખોટા નામનું સાચું મળી ગયું જેકને. મળ્યો ભાઈ જે આવ્યો હતો ખોટો થઈને, મળ્યો ભાઈ જે આવ્યો હતો ખોટો થઈને, મળી ગયું નામ સાથે પ્રેમનું નજરાણું.
As you have compared Jack and Algernon, then who is correct, means who is more liar in comparison of both, and how? Why you say that the following character is more liar?
Jack and Algernon comparison, Algernon is a more liar. Why? Jack was an give that trueness of that conversation. He was an Jack name. His real name was Jack Worthing, and he was an orphan. It's all told all of them in Algernon, because he's a friend Algernon. And at the end, Algernon not told him, and not told him I am that going to country. It's okay, not telling him. But also he was that Jack twice and 3 times to tell him you are go from that country, you are go from the country. But he not even respect Jack. And also that Gwendolyn and Cecily that recognize their both name is not Ernest. He also that not even tension of that is a love relationship. He only eating a muffins.
Well, again, questions are to be asked by the students following, not before. So Mayuri is to be asked question by Nehalba and Nidhi.
How would you describe Jack Worthing?
He was then face a situation because his own create.